funding deadline to keep the government running is just weeks away. At issue, not just overall spending levels, but also critical policy issues. So today, we are joined by Oklahoma U.S. Senator James Lankford from Washington. Senator Lankford, welcome in.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for making time with us. We know you guys are busy. So first, can you just give our viewers who may have not been following this too closely kind of an overview, exactly what's going on there in Congress? We're facing a potential shutdown. Really, how did we get here?
Yeah, well, we got here over decades. Actually, this is not quickly, but we have $32 trillion in total debt. So we really have two different big issues. We've got to keep government open and functioning and doing its tasks, but we've also got to be able to deal with the debt and the deficit. The fiscal year for Congress, for the United States, actually runs from the first week of October until the end of September, which means we have to have all of our funding work done through September. And currently, it is not done once again as we approach the end of September. So the key right now is we've got to be able to deal with debt and deficit and have adult conversations about where we are as a country, what we can do to be able to slow down our spending, but yet still keep the government open. So those are the two things side by side that have got to happen right now.
Okay, let's get specific here. One of the biggest conversations, whether the U.S. should continue its investment in the war in Ukraine. Tell us where you stand on this and the conversations happening.
Yeah, I would say I'm like most Oklahomans. I don't like this war at all and want us to be able to get out of it as quickly as we can. But it's even worse to have Putin actually win that war and to continue to be able to march across Europe. So we should continue to be able to support the people of Ukraine. We should get this war to an end as quickly as we possibly can. But we can't have Putin continue to be able to just chip away on Europe and continue to be able to work its way across the continent. So we've got to be able to isolate the dictator that he is and keep him from slaughtering his neighbors. The best way to do that is to be able to help the people of Ukraine fight their own war. We should not have our sons and daughters, brothers and sisters actually fighting in that war. This is clearly their war, but it is to our national interest to be able to get an end to this war. And the best way to have that end is to have the Ukrainian people win.
Are you on board with the amount of money that is being proposed to continue our investment there, billions upon billions of dollars?
Yeah, we have got to be able to find a way to be able to put our investment there in a way that actually matters to the American people, but we can't just have an endless amount. Right now, the Biden administration is talking about an endless amount of money. We can't do an endless amount of money. Most of what has been spent has actually been spent in American companies actually providing resources to Ukraine. So while that money technically is going to Ukraine, it's actually spent on American companies and the American economy. But long term, we've got to be able to have the Ukrainian people to be able to stand up and defend themselves and to be able to pay for their own resources.
Another one of the big topics here is disaster aid. You know, you being here from Oklahoma, we're no stranger to having disasters right here at home. The president has asked for another $16 billion to replenish FEMA. Tell us what's going on here, your thoughts on this, your stance.
Yeah, this is where we should have a rainy day fund, and it's been one of those things that I've called for a long time. Oklahoma has a significant rainy day fund that if we have challenges in our state budget's able to cover that. We're not covering that sufficiently in the federal budget. So we have a bigger issue in trying to be able to set up a rainy day fund to be able to take care of disaster issues. In the short term, we have to be able to do what we can to be able to stabilize what's happening with a hurricane just coming through Florida, with obviously the traumatic wildfires just happening in Hawaii and other natural disasters that are coming. So that's part of our federal responsibility. We've got to be able to do it and do it well, but we've got to have better planning for it long term so we don't have these short term votes on things that we know that there will be hurricanes, there will be tornadoes, there will be wildfires in the days ahead. So we should set those funds aside early and put them into our normal budgeting process.
Now, you actually introduced the Prevent Government Shutdowns Act to avoid a situation like we're encountering right now. Tell us what was your goal here and how that would work.
Yeah, government shutdowns cost the taxpayer money, make it more difficult on federal workers, and quite frankly, for all of the American people. When we have a government shutdown, some people will say there's no effect, there's no big deal in the government shutdown. There is a significant issue. I talked to somebody just yesterday from the Border Patrol that says, hey, they live paycheck to paycheck as a federal law enforcement officer working in the Border Patrol. And when the government shutdown happens, those paychecks don't go out. Now, they do eventually get paid, but they're literally missing paydays until the government reopens on that. And it's really, really tough on their family to just miss a payday on it. So it's really important that we maintain the government's keeping open, but it's also important that we actually have the argument about our debt and deficit. So the bill that I proposed, it's a nonpartisan bill. I have individuals that are on the bill that are Republican, Democrats, and independents that are on this bill. This particular bill just says the most basic thing. If we get to the end of the fiscal year and the work is not done on appropriations, the government stays open at last year's spending levels, but members of Congress and our staff are in session 7 days a week. We can't move to other bills other than appropriations, and we have to stay here every single day until we actually get our work done. If I could say it this way, it's no different than if you don't finish your homework, you got to stay after school to be able to actually get that homework finished before you can actually be done with the day. So my push is keep the American people and federal workers held harmless in this process, put the pressure on members of Congress to actually get their work done and get it done on time.
So in this current situation we're facing, I'm curious because there has been, some tensions within your own party, right? House and Senate here, Republicans. I'm curious, how do you navigate tensions within your own party and having these tough conversations in a situation like this?
So I work for the people of Oklahoma. That's my first responsibility, is to be able to represent their values, their perspective. I don't represent a party all the time. While I am a Republican, proud to be a Republican, there are policy issues that I agree with on Republicans. My first responsibility is to represent the people of Oklahoma. And what I do is to be able to work to be able to address things as we would, to say, how do we solve debt and deficit issues? How do we actually take care of our federal workforce to be able to make sure the people that are serving the country, actually we take care of them as well? But then also we're dealing with the long-term big issues that we've got to face. Sometimes those are pressure points that we've got to be able to get to those points of conflict to be able to resolve problems, because quite frankly, Congress works on a deadline. If something doesn't have a deadline, they don't want to work on it.
All right, Senator James Lankford, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.